I'd never used Viagra before, so I didn't know anything about it or the dosing, and I hadn't slept for 3 days. So he gives me, 100 milligram one. I take the whole thing, and waits like 3 minutes, and on coke it feels like it's been hours. I'm like, it's not working, and the guy's like, bro, he's like, relax, you know what I mean? It's been like 3 minutes. It takes a while. I'm like, give me another one just in case.
So I thought that was really interesting. And then to tie that into modern day, I don't know, Steve, do you have that WikiLeaks page?
Yeah, I got it.
This one I found very interesting because when WikiLeaks came out, I'm half Emirati, so this is somewhat relevant to me. Saudi Arabia is a neighboring country, bordering country. And WikiLeaks had this very interesting thing about King Abdullah. King Abdullah was the former king of Saudi Arabia. He was 92 years old at the time, but nobody knew his age. It says later here, he's been lying about his age. It says 82 to 87. So Steve, just go up a little bit. The paragraph before this one's really interesting. So he says here, this physician was called in to perform routine medical treatment for one of King Abdullah's wives. He has 4. Upon arrival, the royal clinic accidentally provided this physician with the king's medical file instead of that of the wife. So this doctor spied, took the medical file, gave it, and that's what we're reading here. So if you scroll down, he's a heavy smoker at 92. We didn't know that, by the way. He doesn't smoke publicly. Nobody knew this. And he uses Viagra excessively and receives hormone injections. So he's on testosterone replacement therapy, we believe. So this isn't much, but it's interesting to know. At least you can see one world leader who you would have never expected at 92 is on testosterone. Yeah. There's nothing else there. Yeah, that's all. But it's just the fact that he's on TRT.
No, yeah, that's wild. And he's 92.
I think
he was 92. He died a couple of years later, I think.
Pretty respectable lifespan for being a heavy smoker. And
actually, it's a little funny. His father was also notorious for being obsessed with sex. So in the 60s or 50s, when they first found oil in Saudi Arabia, his father was using a lot of the revenue to bring in as many doctors as he could to figure out how to get himself up hard again so he could continue copulating. He had like 150 kids, 120 kids.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He had a ton of unbelievable amount of kids. But he took it very seriously. So I guess
I wonder what excessive amount of Viagra is. I wonder.
Yeah.
200 milligrams a day? I don't know.
You were saying, Derek, Dan Bilzerian got a heart attack from...
Yeah, he only took like 150 or something. It was not very
but
substantial.
He was on cocaine.
Yeah, he was on
for days also, right?
Yeah, he was on like a binge of like no sleep for like 2 or 3 days in a row, coked up, and then he was trying to fuck and he couldn't get his dick hard. So he took like I forget if he took 50 milligrams or 100 milligrams or something, and it wasn't working for him. So he was like, whatever, I'll just take more. And then he ended up giving himself a heart attack.
I'd never used Viagra before, so I didn't know anything about it or the dosing, and I hadn't slept for 3 days. So he gives me, 100 milligram one. I take the whole thing, and I, waits like 3 minutes, and on coke it feels like it's been hours. I'm like, it's not working, and the guy's like, bro, he's like, relax, you know what I mean? It's been like 3 minutes. It takes a while. I'm like, give me another one just in case. He's like, don't take this. He's like, I'll give you another one, but you can take it later. Like, gives me the pill, and I think I took like a half. And then I didn't feel anything. I didn't know. I figured two whole pills. I figured the normal dose is 1 pill, so like 2 pills is no big deal, right?
And what is a normal dose?
Well, I didn't realize that like a normal dose of Viagra I think is like 10 or 25 milligrams, right? And I had the 100. So I'm just like, take way too much of this, go back to this girl, her for, 45 minutes and 0 chance of me getting off. I just like threw in the towel and went and took a shower. Won't go down for like an hour or something. Anyways, long story short, kicked the girl out, ate room service, went out, gambled some more. I bet on the football game, and I went and ate Mexican food with a buddy of mine. I just, after this Mexican food, I came back to the hotel, and this was like day 4, maybe like 1 hour of sleep. And I just started having this pain in my shoulder, which to me like wasn't indicative of anything. Like I just thought, okay, I got like a shoulder pain. So I'm like doing some push-ups, trying to like move my shoulder around. Like can't really figure out what the deal is. And then I call I'm trying to sleep, but I can't sleep. I have this shoulder pain. So I call my mom, like, hey, get the family doctor on the phone. While I'm waiting, I'm just like getting short of breath. And I'm just like, okay, like something's wrong. So I call down to the front desk of the thing, and they tell me the hospital is closest. I put in my GPS, like 10 minutes away. So I'm like, it, I'll just drive down there. Went down there, kept me in the waiting room forever. By the time I finally see this doctor, I like can barely breathe, and he's like, holy like you're having a heart attack. I've been in the waiting room for like 50 minutes.
Poor guy. Yeah, and I tried not to mess with that stuff too much.
So now he just uses Cialis instead of Viagra because he thinks it's like way more benign. When I think obviously the context specific application
Yeah.
was what kind of fucked him over, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
and the dose, right? The dose
Yeah.
is also.
But it was
I guess
like
it's-
it wasn't that. It was what was it? It was either 150 or 250. I forget, but it was like that's I guess a more intolerable drug, frankly. Overall, like if you're going to compare like 20 milligrams Cialis to 100 milligrams of Viagra in general, I would see more side effects from the Viagra personally. I don't know.
It's
sure.
fun you mentioned this because a co-ruler of the guy we just went over, but I'm not going to say who died, neighboring country, died in the 2000s. He died from that. He was having sex with a chick. He was on Viagra, but he was drinking and doing a little bit of other drugs.
Oh man.
And he had a heart attack. Yeah, it's horrible. So I've been hearing about that since I was young. So I never wanted to try Viagra. It's like, plus it's like you take Viagra and you gotta go. Like this is the time. It's like you're on a clock. I think.
No, the timing is very tight. So that's why I like 5 milligrams Cialis in the morning. You're basically ready to go every day.
Did you guys ever try the underground labs? A lot of the time would have like Iron Man, which was like a combination of Cialis and Viagra.
Why would
Yeah. Yeah, they put what the other one for Danafil? No, you have sildenafil for Danafil and tadalafil. They put like half the dose of all of them in there.
If they were smart, they would put doxycycline. Doxycycline works through a different mechanism. Put that with the. Oh, these guys don't. You know what? It annoys me, Derek. It annoys me sometimes. These research chem companies. It's like, why are you still making DNP? There's like 50 alternatives. There's so many DNP pro drugs, a little bit safer. They don't even. I mean, I'm not talking about DNP. They shouldn't make DNP, maybe, probably. But I'm just saying, like, they're not at all inquisitive. Like they
sell.
Put the money in, but they don't check. You know,
it doesn't sell. I mean, look at my channel. I have all these new novel compounds to, try over traditional fat burners or whatever, and it doesn't get views because people don't know about it. So it's so new, all these novel compounds, that people don't even take the time to research it and look for better opportunities to save their health in the process. Well, DMP works. There's literature on it, so I might as well go with that. And when you talk about something else, then they're like, yeah, well.
But the fat loss drug that you're experimenting with right now, like that's pretty unheard of. But I saw it on a website today. It's available.
Yeah. Oh, it's available, but it's highly expensive.
Oh.
It's highly expensive. It costs you like $2 to $3 per tablet, and you need 3 tablets per day. So then, of course, the cost effectiveness is like, okay, might as well use growth hormone then. Because if I'm going to spend $10 a day on a fat burner, I'd rather get some anabolism for that as well.
So Steve, say we had to create a stack for somebody that we don't know anything about his genetics. All we think of is that his career or her career requires her to, well, it's going to be him because there's testosterone there, but requires him to be high performing, high driven. So Derek suggested sort of, we call it like an entrepreneurship, suggested generic entrepreneurship. Now, the thing is, we should caveat everything in the beginning with saying the majority of the value in designing somebody's a program is in knowing their unique biology, either how they respond to the drug by trying it out, or something about their genetics or something about their history. So we don't know anything about that. But Steve and I proposed 2 models. Steve, maybe you could share your screen and show what we wrote out.